Hi everybody, it's Russ from My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button so you're notified of any time we put new content on. Obviously, we put videos up daily, interviewing guests all the time. Loads of guests, great guests coming up, including today's guest. I think it's going to be a giggle tonight. He is Centreforce DJ, is Ultimate Strongman MC. It's Martin C. Hi, Martin. How are you, man?
How you doing? Thanks for having me, Russ. Super.
Absolute pleasure.
Fantastic introduction that was. I love that.
Good. You can record it afterwards and put it on as your mobile your voicemail for your phone when people start calling you again. Yeah. How's things? How you doing?
Do you know what? Struggling during lockdown. Obviously, being in the events industry and being, as I say, a DJ and everything else, we haven't got a lot to be going, to be doing at the minute. The radio's still going. Luckily, we're classed as key workers in the broadcast industry and in the media and that. So that's fantastic. And to be honest with you, that's never been more popular or stronger. And I've been in radio since I was 12 and a half, and I'm 46 now. So that's good. That side of it is absolutely brilliant. But obviously, we're all struggling at the minute. Good days and bad days.
Exactly, it's the same. I think it's the same for everyone. As long as as long as you wake up and you wake up in the morning, I think everyone's in the same boat. To be honest, Yeah,
I think you're right.
In the grand scheme of things, right? Anyway, so that's the last we talk about that. So the whole idea of this channel, as you know, is to talk to fans about the memories of West Ham, fond earliest memories, and also their Hammers 11, which I know you've taken a lot of time to deliberate. I'm looking forward to hearing that later on. So in terms of you, Martin, obviously you've been a West Ham fan for a long time. You said you was a steward as well, just before we came on. What was your earliest West Ham memory?
I think earliest West Ham memories. Blind, now you're talking. My mate Ray Hill got me over there, and he was a steward at West Ham, Russ, and he took me out. So I started supporting West Ham in 1980. I got out and for the cup final and everything else. And then it took me 10 years ish to get there, because I had no one to really take me in that respect. So my mate Ray Hill took me over there. We didn't start. He was a steward, but as I say, he didn't. I started. It took me a few games, and one of my earliest memories was beating Tottenham 2-1, and that would have been about 1991 ish. And Tottenham were meant to beat us. They were, they had a decent team at the time, and West Ham being West Ham. And I remember we beat them. I think Lineker. Do you know what? My memory's terrible, Russ, but I remember Lineker scored for them, and then we come back and beat them. I'm sure it went that way. And that was fantastic. Another great memory. In the same season, I think it was, we beat Sunderland 6-0, and I always remember the headline in the newspaper the next day was West Ham 6-0. It was fantastic. And I remember that. I remember the team. Trevor Morley, Mike Small, I think, was in the team. Obviously Dixie Breaker, Potsy, Alvin, all in the team as well. Real fantastic team. Good memories. I loved being in the South Bank. That was my favourite spot back then, with the old green iron things to stop you surging forward and everything else, the barriers and that. It felt like a proper football ground back then, and it even smelt like a proper football ground, just the smell. If I could recreate that smell, I know I might come across a bit strange, but I love it's that smell. It's the smell of walking down Green Street, not necessarily knowing what meat is being cooked, but it all smelt the same. Or you went down Barking Road and you had Erken's and you got Nathan's and Pie. That it's just that smell. You're right. There was a smell of fried onions and meat. Fried onions of some description. Whatever it was frying at the time. But it's quite funny because when I used to take new people up there afterwards, I'm obviously moving forward a bit here.
That's right.
But it was that first point where you walk around the corner by the bowling, and I used to always love the look on their faces when you walk around that corner by the bowling. And you look up towards the ground, and you just sort of sea of people, and the smell and the mist and the whole, the police horses and everything else you would see there. And I know we'll never get that back, and that, but blimey, that was fantastic, you know, and for us to have lived through that, I think we're blessed, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree, and also, you know, it was one of those things. It was really weird. You know, I was talking to someone the other day about it, and they went very young when they first went to West Ham, and I was reasonably young, but you weren't scared. It's like, you know, you think from a kid, it's like 36,000 blokes, you know, in a quite tight road, but it just felt part of a family and community. You didn't like feel like worried or scared or anything like that.
Do you know what? You're spot on there, Russ. I think the fact of the matter is I think you felt safe, right? That was it, because you were surrounded by your own. You know, you were surrounded by your own. You'd never felt safer. You know, this was West Ham. You know, it's the fans were like just family, really, isn't it? Yeah. You know, and you could, but you know, you could bump into people and that no one cared. We're all supporting the same team, you know.
Exactly.
If we're all there together.
Exactly. And if there was a tear up, it wouldn't be anywhere down Barking Road or down Green Street. So it's like
no, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. No.
Exactly. So that was the thing. That was the thing. You know. And so no, I know what you meant. It was it was a special, especially your earliest memories. You know, stuff like that. Those smells, as you said. That's what brings back a lot of memories. Yeah, me as well. It smells, and you can't. And you might smell it again, and you can't picture it, and it just rattles in your brain for so long. And then it's oh, that was it. Yeah, I love it. And so you know, that was sort of your earliest memories, Martin. What about you? Sort of your, you know, as a few decades of West Ham supporting. Good. What sort of your fond memories? Anything that sort of sticks in your mind? Like obviously apart from your first one, but you know.
Stewarding. I'll go to the stewarding because I've got some fond memories of stewarding, certainly. And it goes back to I can't remember what the game was, but we was on ITV and it was an early game. It was in them days, and I think we was in we was in the second division, or it might have been Division 1. As I say, my memory's terrible. But Brian Moore was the commentator, and he come in early, and as a steward, you used to get vouchers. They would make
get your vouchers for your food.
Food up, and we would have, like, you know, you get a cheeseburger, get chips, everything else. Brian Moore come in, and it was about 11 in the morning. It might have been earlier than that. As I say, probably a lunchtime kickoff, and I was stewarding on the South Bank gate. Okay, so it was, you know, it would come out by the East Stand basically, but he was on the side of the South, and Brian Moore coming in, he said, I'm starving. He went, is there anywhere we can get anything to eat? And he wanted to pay. Well, they didn't have the tills in at this time of the day. So, and they weren't interested. It was Brian Moore. It was just the fact that, you know, they wanted to, you know, they wanted to get the vouchers in, you know, Anyway, I said, I'll tell you what, Brian, because we had a bit of a thing going at the time where we had extra vouchers. You know how it goes. And I said, I'll give you a voucher. I said, you can use my voucher and everything. Anyway, so he had his burger and everything else, and he was chatting away to me, and he was really thankful. Anyway, my head steward at the time, he turned around to me about an hour later, something like that. He said, Brian Moore has requested that you come to the catering van at half time. Okay, so he's come and got me. I've gone to the catering van. There's Brian sitting there. And he'd arranged it all and everything else. I think he was just doing commentary. He wasn't doing the presentation side of it. So he was having his break, and he gave me he goes, do you like curry? I said, well, yeah, I do. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. He went, I've got the chef to knock you this up. So, because they have their own catering, the TV team. And he made me, you know, I can always say, Brian Moore bought me a curry, which is quite nice. So that's a fond memory. And of course, the people going in that gate as well, on the South Bank, it was a press gate. So you used Bobby Moore come through in the early days. All the players, literally everyone.
From the South, they did from the South Gate. Yeah,
they did. And they used to come in that entrance, and and the early days of Sky. Of course, Andy Gray and all his team were there then, and I can remember just having chats with them, and it was just these people that you see on the telly, and they are real heroes, you know, they are real, you know, people that you look up to, and they would be coming through that gate. So they're really good memories, and you know, you could, as I say, it was, I don't know, just an old school niceness.
Proper East End welcome, innit? I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Because they always used to come down I remember, because when we was there, I spent from 2002 when I was doing announcing at the ground. Obviously, we were because we used to have the match day announcer and stuff used to be sort of pitch side, didn't it? In that sort of quarter cabin. And then when we got the Rio stand, we went up next door to the police above the scoreboard, and we used to go. We always went round came for the Bobby Moore entrance, and so so we'd see a few because obviously sometimes the chairman would park their cars around the back there so they could get out quick down Market Road. But it's great times, and just as you said, he always had a really nice welcome, particularly from the security guards and the stewards. Yes, I mean,
they're a decent bunch.
They were. And there's still a few.
With the club.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a few of the boys around the older ones around the tunnel and stuff. They're still at London Stadium, and
the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers. Yeah, the brothers are still there.
That's right. Yeah. I remember them. Yeah, I remember them well.
The brothers are still there, bless them. And I still see quite a few of the old stadium managers and stuff on the train because obviously most of them are old retired policemen, and so
of course.
Yeah, so like John Ball and stuff. I used to see him quite a bit.
John Ball, he was the manager when I was a steward.
Yeah. So he's because my dad was a copper, and so he knew my dad. So it was always he'd come in and say
fantastic.
hello. Anyway,
and his second in command was Ron.
Ron, yeah, Ron, Ron. He took over when John left. Yeah, bless him. Right, this is only interesting to probably about 10 people watching. But
I know. This isn't great TV, but yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to talk about Euro 11 because I think that's going to be quite entertaining. As I said, we have a few parameters. We try and keep it to 4-4-2. We try and we sort of insist that you have to have been alive to see them play. So obviously, 45, 46. Martin, I think you said you were. Obviously you weren't around to watch Bobby Moore play, but you were around to watch Gary Breen play, for example. If it might be a spoiler alert. If I just annoyed you on a centre back. Anyway, and also it's yours. You can talk whoever you want. Doesn't have to be the best player.
Yeah, okay.
Favourite to you or whatever. So I know you've been deliberating quite a lot of this, Martin. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'll tell you something. I when you said it, easy. I can name my 11. It ain't easy at all. No. When you get thinking and you start going over it in your mind and everything else and all the players you've seen, and you've set the parameters, have to be 4-4-2 and everything else.
Yeah.
It actually becomes quite difficult.
It does.
I was going to have sleepless nights over it.
Well, particularly now because you've got time to think about it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? You've got time. If you go on YouTube, you've got Robert Banks. He's been basically uploading all the season reviews from about the mid-90s onwards.
Yeah.
So I've been watching. So same as me, you go, Christ, I forgot how much I loved him. Or I forgot about him. And then you actually watch him. And people who you thought were gods, you then watch them again and you go, actually, no, I'm pretty shit. But I had these sort of rose-tinted glasses at the time. But
I quite like them rose-tinted glasses. I'll be honest with you, because the 11 I've done are the ones who entertain me the most.
Brilliant.
The players I wanted to see. The players that, for me, had passion or there was something about them.
That's good.
Real individuals.
Yeah, I love it.
So you'll see from my 11 anyway.
All right, we'll start off between the sticks for the Martin 11.
This was one of the easiest selections. Ludek McCloskey.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. I say absolutely brilliant. He certainly had his moments, as we all know. Yeah. They always said he was a bit like Dracula. He didn't like crosses, but do you know what? Ludo, for me, he come over as a bit of an unknown quantity. I think we signed him from Bannock Ostrava. And I can remember early days, him coming between the sticks. And he had to settle down, and he did. And he became an absolute West Ham legend. Yeah. We still sing his name to this day now. He's still one of the most highly regarded, highly thought of players. My son, my two boys, they're season ticket holders, West Ham, along with me as well. They still sing his name, and they don't even know him properly. They just know he comes from near Moscow. So, Ludo, no doubt about it.
Ludo,
I mean, let's remember that last that game versus Manchester United. When he just pulled off them saves, and it was a fantastic display of goalkeeping, and I've still got some pictures knocking around somewhere of some of the Man United players' faces as he's pulling these saves off, and that for me was just fantastic.
Yeah, because he would just pull like a worldie game out of the bag, wouldn't he? He'd be like as you said, not great at crosses sometimes, and then one game he would be like the world's best goalkeeper, and you're like,
greatest ever.
Why can't we have that every game?
Yeah.
But that's the West Ham way. That is the West Ham way.
Yeah, that is the West Ham way.
We'll play like world beaters. Exactly. Build you up, and the next week we'll lose to Wolves.
Build you up and knock you down. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
we know.
Totally.
All right, Ludo between the sticks. Let's go left back then.
And no, this was a real easy pick. He's one of my favourite all-time players, without a doubt. Aggression, heart. I know we always say Mr. West Ham, and we put that to other players, but for me, Julian Dix.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He had the aggression. He took on anyone, and he would have one-to-one battles with the so-called top division's hardest players. And Julian had it all, the aggression, but let's not forget as well, he had the skill. He could play football, and that, taking a penalty, you knew he was going to always score. It was, if the goalkeeper got in the way of it, he would put him in the back of the net as well. Exactly. He used to hit a ball that hard. Fantastic. He just epitomised West Ham for me.
He did. And as you said, I think it was the Man United game again when he took that penalty and Schmeichel's hand went back. Schmeichel was a unit. Right. Julian was, and obviously you and me style our hair on him. So his latter part of his career. I always loved the fact he just ripped his collar. It was like when they had like the hoop neck, fuck it, just rip it. That's what I love.
Rips his collar. He's
untucked, untucked. Don't pick me for England, and I don't care. Loved him.
Care.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. West Ham. And as we said before on this channel, that there isn't many fullbacks who can galvanise a crowd, who can basically conduct the game from a fullback position. He was like a left back. It's not glamorous being a left back, but a crunching tackle.
He made it glamorous, didn't he?
Yeah.
He sort of made you want it. If you was to ask a kid at that time what position you wanted, I would have been left back. So it would have made me feared. Literally, So
exactly.
He's fantastic on the
and that was the thing during the sort of like the 96, obviously when he was getting potentially getting called up to Euro 96, probably would have taken a penalty, so Gareth Southgate wouldn't have taken it. So just saying, if he was in the England squad at that time. But left back was probably one of the most toughest positions to get into the England squad, because you had like Stuart Pearce, you had like Lasso, you had him and Julian. It was quite a glamorous position in sort of that mid-90s position.
Yeah.
Now it's like that's not.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no, I totally understand it. Yeah, and I totally get that. But I mean, he never got into the. He never played for England. And what can you say? His haircut weren't right for England at the time.
That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, that was what they're saying, wasn't it? Yeah. Right. Okay, we'll put Julie. Let's go to the right back, Martin. Let's go to the other side. We've got right back then.
Right, this is a little bit more. It's a little bit more controversial, but he's in exactly the same vein as Julian. Thomas Repka.
Yeah.
I loved Thomas Repka. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Again, aggression. He was strong. Do you know what? When you watch Repka, very similar to Julian as well. He was almost like a replacement for Julian at the back, obviously on the other side. That's where he generally played. You never knew when he was going to explode. And that, to me, was the exciting part about it. He was this crazy Czechoslovakian defender that you just wouldn't mess with. You wouldn't want to see him down a dark alley, would you? No. Because he was Repka. You know what I mean? So, I love Repka.
Even his surname sounded hard, didn't it?
Repka,
like,
yeah.
It's not like...
If you was a kid and you had a mate called Repka and you said Repka was coming to beat him up, someone who'd been picking on you, then you knew you was in trouble.
Yeah,
exactly
definitely.
Yeah.
And he was a record signing when we signed him. He was like he was our record signing when he came to us. And
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, at the time,
I did at the time.
At the time, he was a record signing. And again, he was crazy. again, he'd have one game where it'd be mesmeric as a defender, and then the next game he'd put a 2-footed tackle and get sent off. But that's what I think makes a good West Ham player, is having that edge, and you don't. I have my frozen plaster. That edge where you just don't know if he's going to put same with Julian. He could just snap as well, and I think West fans love that. You didn't know what was going to happen with them. But Thomas Repka, love it. Okay, let's go centre back. Who's your first centre back then, Martin?
I'll go my first centre back. I would have stuck him next to Dixie, and he hasn't gone far now. Slaven Bilic.
Yeah.
Now I know he didn't play that many games for us. He had about a season, didn't he? I think.
Season,
all in all, might give or take. He was one of the. He again was tough but skillful. He could read the game, and I don't think there was many players getting past him. He was fantastic for me. Repka. Bilic. Sorry. He was just fantastic. And I think I would have loved to have seen him stay there a lot longer. When he went to Everton, and there was a little bit controversy after that, about Everton being a bigger club and this, that, and all the rest of it. But no, Bilic for me, superb. Just would have loved to have had him longer. Yeah, and of course he come back and done a fantastic job as a manager. Later on.
Yeah, the stars aligned for him to come back. All right, totally agree with Slab. Okay, who's going to partner Slab in centre back then?
Well, it has to be Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a no-brainer, Rio Ferdinand, for anyone our age. I think at times, we saw him come from the academy.
Yeah.
I think I was there when I would have been there when he signed. They used to bring the table out, didn't they, and sign the kids up.
I don't think, if I remember, I don't think Rio had like the fanfare that Joe Cole had. Do you know what I mean? I remember Joe, he came on. It was like we were playing Chelsea as well when he came on. Yeah. But I don't think with Rio they had that.
Ironically.
But my Chelsea fans still mention that to me. I don't think that he had as much. Everyone knew he was mustard, but I don't think he had when he was from 12 like Joe was. And I think that's what set him in a good stead, because he didn't have that pressure coming in.
Rio for me, I mean, when he come out of defence as well, he would come out of defence and he could play the ball. I think again against Tottenham, he come out on one of the games, and he done this little spin in the middle of the field to go, and he's just, he definitely could play football, and he could play the ball out, not like the other three in my, in the back at the back that would, kick them up in the air. He wasn't that sort of player so much. But he would be the skillful, he'd have the bit of class about him, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. And
so Rio definitely.
Yeah, that sets off that defence nicely then, Martin. Right, okay, let's go to midfield. Let's go left wing.
Okay, so I've gone for, my wingers are going to be attacking, because with that defence, I don't see anyone. I don't see anyone having a pop at goal when no one's getting past these boys. So anyway, do you want to go left midfield first of all?
Yeah, go left midfield first. Yeah.
Okay. Matthew Etherington.
Good shout. Yeah.
Now, when Etherington come, there was a few eyebrows raised, and a few people questioned the signing, but I think he had a bit of everything, Matthew Etherington, for me, and he was definitely 110% up. And he could run with a ball. He was what we like with West Ham. He would run down the wing. He would, he'd cross the ball. He'd go past players. He'd take them on, the West Ham way. So he fitted in for me, and I found him exciting to watch. Yeah. When he was on the pitch, you knew what you was going to get out of him.
Exactly.
So he would attack. I like attacking wingers.
Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned, but that's what I like. If he didn't get back and track back so much, well, so be it.
He had Julian behind him anyway on this team.
Julian on this team. So there weren't many people. Not many going past.
Nah, exactly. Etherington, and he was one of those wingers which I think we're losing as a culture in football, in that he's a left winger. He played on the left wing. I hate wingers on the wrong wing. I know why they do it, because they cut in to score goals like Salah and whatnot. But having a winger, just like pure pace. Matty Effington was so quick. Just beat the left, beat the right back, cross it in. It can be so simple as long as you've got the strikers there.
Play your players in position. You know, that's what that. But we don't seem to do that so much anymore, which is a shame. You know,
exactly. Well, it's the same with you know, as you said, the defence. You know, you got like, you know, it's all about sort of passing from the back and stuff like that. Now you don't get any of those like Repka type players anymore. You know, like they're just lumps, and so you know, it's all very
absolutely right.
So, it's, you know, I like a defender to defend, you know, like you know. Anyway, okay, so we'll put Effington on the left. Who's going to go on the other wing? Then
on the other wing, another player that likes to go forward, Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah,
tricky Trevor. Again, pace, power. He could get into the box as well now and again, and we I know it wasn't for us, but we all remember that overhead kick, I think, for QPR. You know, that's where we got him from. Trevor Sinclair for me took players on, exciting to watch. The only reason he didn't get an England call up at the time was David Beckham, because he was playing the same position. So slightly underrated as well. So when teams come, they wasn't playing against an England international, you know, so much. I don't know if he nicked a few caps or not, but
I don't even remember. In the World Cup, didn't he? He ended up playing in the in Japan or Tokyo.
Yep.
So you're back. Sorry, that one. It's all right. So he dropped. I think they had like loads. I think Hargreaves got injured. Someone else, and he went on the left. I think Beckham was on the right. He was on the left. So I might be wrong, but I know he played a lot in the. But yeah, you're right. It's like he was second to David Beckham in that position, basically. Which is fair enough, isn't it?
Which is you can't really argue with that too much. But so Trevor for me, always put in 100%, 110%. Again, I like my wingers to run down the wing and cross the ball, because that for me is a West Ham way. You know, play a bit of football and take people on. So that Trevor ticks all the boxes. Yeah,
sounds great. Right, I put Trevor on the right. Let's go centre mids. Who we got your first centre mid?
Okay, centre mid. Mark Noble.
Yeah.
Consistency. Mr. West Ham. What can you say? There's not really a lot you can say wrong about Mark Noble. He's Mr. West Ham now, and he still is. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's a one club man.
Yeah.
And he'll always be regarded as a West Ham legend, regardless of what the future holds for Mark Noble. You know. So excuse me. So Mark Noble for me just puts in a shift. You know, every game. Puts in a shift.
Totally.
You know, might have the odd bad game and everyone to jump up in the air about it, but he certainly has more good than bad, and he always puts in 100%. And that's West Ham for me.
And he's got he's got the games and he's got the games in his back pocket if he does have an off game. People were like, all right, but it's Mark Noble, so you know he's going to turn it on.
He's got a credit rating. He's got a very strong credit rating.
Exactly.
At West Ham, but he doesn't sit back on that. He wants to.
No, he
doesn't.
Yeah.
I think when he goes out, he's always focused. You know, he wants the best for the team. You can't ask for no more than that.
No, you can't. And you just see, and he just fits as a West Ham captain. He has a nice little. I know we haven't got any hair, but it's nice slicked hair. You know, he always looks. You know, his hair looks good. You know, he just looks, like a proper old East End boy. You know, like the hair done well. You know, dresses nice. And that's
he does.
What he wants as a captain,
and that's what he is. So,
exactly.
Yes, brilliant.
Yeah, right. No, who's going to partner Noble in the middle then, Martin?
Joe Cole.
Yeah.
Again, come through our academy. Rightfully, as you said, he signed papers on the pitch. I was there that day. I can remember my seat actually at the time was in the old Lower West. Sitting there with my mate Damien, I think, and we sat there and watched. And literally, we were probably about 5 rows back, so he was close to the pitch, obviously. Him signing, and I remember there was all this hype about how Alex Ferguson had made a phone call to Redknapp, you know, talking about him and that. We'd all heard this rumour and everything else, and what a great player he was going to be, you know, and what he was, you know, and to be fair, he never disappointed.
No.
He was always a class act. Yeah. I was sad when he went. I was really sad when he went. I was sad to who he went to as well. It pained me slightly, but you know what? We all understood why. Yeah. You know, the reasons for all to see. But so it never left and of course he come back for a second spell as well. Let's not forget that. So yeah, Joey Cole, skill, class, everything you can ask for a West Ham player.
Yeah, totally. And now he's on doing obviously the BT Sport, well not at the moment, but when he is, he comes across as a real sort of knowledgeable football person. Do you know, he's got a definite football brain on him. He'd be a good manager or an advisor or something at the club, and that's
love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would love to. I mean, it's the same as Rio. Yeah. Rio talks so eloquently about football, and so knowledgeably that there's a lot of, you know, if not us, then England. You know, having like these players around, ex-players will no doubt obviously improve the. Hopefully improve what we're doing and stuff. So
without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Right, okay, we'll put Joey in. I like that. And obviously it's nice because Noble can sort of hang back and Joe can just be Joe. You know, I think Joe played best when he was just Joe, not a left wing like Chelsea and England forced him. You know, he was when he first joined like the first team, and obviously just come from the Youth Cup, and he just had this he was the free role. Yeah. And the free role, and you don't hear that so much anymore, you know. But when you let that player roam just behind the top two strikers, you know, blimey, they can't pick him up.
You know, you got fireworks when you had Joe Cole, you know, allowed to do what he wanted in that respect. You know, exactly. I know you have to have tactics, but you know, to have one player like that, That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, put Joe in. Let's go with your strikers then, Martin. Who's going to get your goals?
Well, it'll come as no surprise, Tony Cottee.
Yeah.
Cottee for me, especially when he linked up with McAvenny. You know, fantastic. What can you say? Yeah. What I don't really need to say too much about Tony Cottee. His goal record. He's probably the last real goal poacher.
Yes.
We've ever had, and it's sad to say that. But he was a real goal. You know, he was a goal poacher, and that's what we wanted. And that was TC. Still wrapped around the club now. You know, it's just lovely to see whenever you hear him speak. He speaks so highly of West Ham, and he's just West Ham through and through. I love him to pieces. And if I see him, I just look at him, and he just oozes West Ham. Yeah. And we all feel the same about that. There's no argument there. No, I'd be surprised if anyone disagreed.
No. Yeah.
And in this world, that's quite a big thing, you know.
Exactly. In this social media world, TC, as you said, I think he was the proverbial, you know, fox in the box. You know,
in the box,
and that's what he was. And as you said, I don't think we don't know. Again, I don't think the game has that type of player in it anymore. You know, they're all, you know, 6'4", quick, athletic, kick 30 up. That you know, he'd get 20 odd goals. You know, just not tap-ins, but in that sort of 6-yard box.
Because he was a thing. Because
exactly,
he could think,
intelligent,
and he would get into those positions. You know, he was just. If there was a goal to be scored, he would invariably be in the right position to score it.
Yeah,
you know, so totally right. He didn't have to score weldies and stuff like that. I don't really remember that many Tony Cottee weldies, to be totally honest with you. But I remember he used to be banging them in left, right, and centre. So, Tony Cottee for me. As I say, I don't really need to say too much about TC.
No, I agree. Yeah, exactly.
West Ham legend.
Exactly. And who's TC going to partner up front then, Martin?
TC is going to partner, and I've saved the best till last. He's going to partner Marco Buga. No, I'm joking.
Yes, I was say,
Paolo Di Canio.
I was going to say Guillermo Franco.
No, Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah.
Paolo, again, it's another. I know it's an obvious choice, but I watched him play. For me, Paolo is the greatest player I've ever seen play at West Ham live.
Yeah.
He again oozed West Ham, oozed class, slightly crazy, you know, but you know that didn't matter. We really enjoyed that. We really liked that.
Yeah.
You know, just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You know, Paolo. Yeah, I mean, the goal against Chelsea always stands out for me, where he sort of danced. About 30 yards when he was out, and he just danced across and scored that. Yeah, that was a welder. You know, of course, the Trevor Sinclair cross at Paolo, the scissor kick. We all remember that. You know, but he was more than that as well. He would provide fantastic play, and just having him on the pitch. I know people used to say he didn't travel away that well, but that was I sort of tended to disagree. I think he was. I think he did thrive at home because he got West Ham. He got what us fans wanted. He got what it was all about.
Exactly. And there's less pressure to defend usually when you're at home. So it's like you're being expected to go on the attack. So he'd always thrive at home. And as you said, I remember goals he scored away. I remember famously when he caught the ball, didn't he? And he won the Everton, that he won the Fair Play Award, and we could have done with that. Do you know what I mean? But that was him. But that was him, wasn't it? That was Paolo, and he had someone meant, I think, I can't remember, it might have been Chris Skull or something, was saying football isn't it is a sport, but it's an entertainment as well, and he was just box office. Paolo was box. You would pay your season ticket just to watch him.
To watch Paolo. No, you would. You would. And that's without a shadow of it. I mean, and he come to us, obviously, under that cloud of controversy. Personally, I thought the ref made a meal out of that anyway. I think we all pretty much agreed that he went over like a skittle. For me, fantastic. Couldn't beat Paolo. My greatest ever West Ham player, undoubtedly, that I've seen live. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of frames up your team nicely. Then, so you've got a bit of skill, you got a bit of grit, you got a bit of craziness, you got a bit of sensibly, and I think you've got a nice balance. You haven't got like a whole team of nutters. There's a nice balance there. Do you know what I mean?
It's debatable, but
Well, I mean, I'm thinking like Rio, Noble. They're quite sort of. Cottee, Cottee wasn't like you got some sensible heads as well as some hot ones as well.
they had some big mates to back them up.
Exactly. If it all kicks off, we're okay there.
I'm just having Dixie and Repka, you'd be fine if you had them two as bodyguards.
Slab could give it out. Slab could give it out.
Slab and all. Sorry, blindly, very softly spoken.
He was very softly spoken, but you can see them. I think everyone who saw him on the touchline when he was a manager saw how much passion the man had as well. So
yeah.
And even Repka. I mean, it'll be funny when it was Repka's last game and it was the end of the game. He was crying because he knew it was his last game.
No, he was.
A man who's like just like a unit was sobbing his eyes out. So
he loved West Ham. He
did. Yeah. But he left and was just as crazy. It's been just as crazy with all the stories and. With him and his girlfriends and in jail and blackmailing and trying to sell a hired car to someone. It's just brilliant. It's just so West Ham. Right, it's been absolutely brilliant. It's been great chatting to you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks everyone, obviously, for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Obviously, tune in and listen to the Centreforce. You're on it every day. You're on 9. Is it on?
No, I'm on Thursdays, midday till 2.
Midday till 2.
I've got something called the Ginger Alliance with Sarah LP. So please join me. Love.
It'd be good for Thursday lunchtime. Everyone can have a bit of a boogie on Thursday lunchtime. We all need it at the moment. And everyone else, take care. And obviously, we'll see you next time, guys. Take care. Stay safe.